1863, a black man by the name of Gordon escaped a Louisiana slave plantation owned and operated by a man named John Lyons. He escaped just a few months after the Emancipation Proclamation had taken effect. He found his way to Union Army lines. He presented himself as a black man about 40 years old. And when they began to inspect him, they removed his shirt and they saw this incredible lattice of scar tissue crisscrossing the entirety of his back as evidence of the whippings that he'd received during the time he'd been enslaved. The first thing that the Union Army did was take photographs of this. And those photographs were disseminated far and wide. For years, abolitionists had published accounts of the ordeal of slavery. Northern newspapers had published investigations that talked about the horrors of enslavement. And each time, those accounts were discredited or dismissed. They were thought to be just hyperbole or exaggeration. And there was a counter-narrative that said slavery was not as bad as people are making it out to be, that the relationships between the enslaved and the slavers are more familial than anything else. And then you have Gordon and his back. When that image goes out, it shows the entire world the brutality of the slave system. He made the horrors of slavery believable to people who might otherwise think that they were unbelievable. In the course of this conversation, you may hear things that you find hard to believe. Things that seem to be at odds with the version of American society and American history that you've already known. But like Gordon's back, you should believe them. They are a testament to parts of our history and parts of our society that we've dismissed, that we've been hesitant to believe. But we have to, if we want to have an accurate understanding of who we are as a country, where we are in terms of race.
In this specific class, you will learn about how there are two abiding factions in this United States of America. White supremacy is one, and Black love is another.
White supremacy is a narrative of control. It is a story about the superiority of white people and the denigration of non-white people.
Black love is that thing that tells you that all of that's a lie. Black love is the thing that allows you to survive. Black love is the thing that makes you believe in American democracy even when American democracy hasn't believed in us.
There has been this unbroken history of struggle for liberation for hundreds of years, but Black people managed to create beauty and love in the very process of fighting this system.
One of our jobs is to try to make there be as little racism as possible. But a more important job is to see where the racism is and think about ways that we can get past it.
What we're not going to do in this master class is exclude women from the conversation about anti-Black racism. What we're not going to do in this master class is assume that questions of gender happen somewhere else. This is just about race. We can't talk about Black folk. We can't talk about anti-Black racism without talking about gender.
The history we have been taught does not prepare us for the society in which we live. As Americans, we don't get to pick and choose which part of the legacy we claim and which part we say we have no obligation to. You have to take the good and the bad.
And I think that masterclass will allow ideas to circulate that might otherwise have been inaccessible to people who are watching.
And I am blessed to invite each and every one of you to have the courage to say, Let me see what this wrestling with white supremacy and black love is all about. What does the towering Sister Angela Davis, after decades of unbelievable sacrifice and courage, what does she have to say? What does Brother McWhorter have to say? I might not agree with my brother politically and ideologically. He's a brilliant brother. He's got insights. What does Brother Jelani Cobb have to say as he negotiates and navigates his own reflections about white supremacy from his own distinctive point of view? Kimberly Crenshaw, oh, I love my dear sister so. She is in the vanguard of critical race theory. What does she have to say? You don't want to miss the legal brilliance of my dear sister Sherilyn Ifill and the courageous, powerful, and indispensable voice of my dear sister Nicole Hannah-Jones. Masterclass says to you, listen to these different voices. Maybe even an old cracked vessel brother named Cornel West has something to say to you so that you can be enlightened, you can be inspired, and there's going to be a variety of viewpoints, a variety of visions. You will be deeply and equally empowered by what they have to say. So come on in, check out Masterclass, see what we got to say to you.
I'm Jelani Cobb.
I'm Nicole Hannah-Jones.
I'm Kimberly Williams Crenshaw.
I'm John McWhorter.
I'm Sherilyn Ifill.
I am Cornel West.
I'm Angela Davis, and this is Masterclass.